All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, April 5th. We have just a 5-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk many other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to the Guy Boston Sports site for all of my final plays. If that does interest you, what I'm actually rolling with myself, absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. All right, yesterday, another day of 0 losses in the NBA. Now, we've been super conservative, right? In fact, let's take the cha-ching, get that out of the way. But 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we go 2-0. 2 days ago, we go 1-0. Yesterday, we go 2-0. So we're on a 5-0 quiet, sneaky run in the NBA. It's not money gun worthy because, you know, we only pull those out for 3-0 days or more. But 5-0 in our last 3 days, at least we're wearing the money gun hat. We did have to pull out the money gun for the MLB. So you know what? We'll take a cha-ching for that. But we had Emmanuel quickly over 26.5 PRA. Scored 17 points, had 8 rebounds, 8 assists. And then the Bulls team total under 122.5. They finished with 118. We moved that line up a couple points, ended up paying some juice. Ultimately didn't need to, but still. A win's a win, right? The quickly was a nice 118 cash there. So yeah, like I said, last 3 days, haven't lost an NBA bet. Knock on same damn wood because, you know, I'm jinxing the heck out of myself right now. But the news gets even better. Let's pump in some crowd noise for a channel OG here. Parlay Guru had Tyus Jones over 10.5 points plus assists. He hit that in points alone last night. Another cha-ching. We're abusing the soundboard this morning. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to ride with your plays. So looking forward to seeing what Parlay Guru throws out towards us today. If you do lose, you get the shout out, but we got to face the womp womp on the soundboard. I also post the ride of the days over on my Twitter/X, which will be rotating here throughout the show. It's also posted on the Guy Boston Sports site along with the final plays. So if you are interested in riding with the community, that is how to find out what the ride of the day is for that day. But all right, let's go ahead and dive into this small slate, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Starting off with Atlanta taking on New York. So Atlanta's coming off of 2 straight losses. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They are right now in the 8th seed. They're half game or a full game out of the 7th seed. So looking like they're going to be a play-in team no matter what. They're about 5 or 6 games out of that 6th seed. So they're going to be a play-in team. It's a matter of if they play the Bulls or the Heat, right? Ultimately, this spot would be kind of like Atlanta at home, sneaky +4, but we might be seeing Brunson coming back for the Knicks. I think that's going to be a huge boost for them because we can't sit here and say that they've been playing poor basketball. I mean, against good teams, they've been struggling, but, you know, they're doing what they need to do against some of these bad teams, and at this point in the season, the way Atlanta's been playing, I don't really want to sit here and call them a good team, so I think you're getting a short number against a team that really is lacking defense, not playing the best basketball. Yes, we see Trae Young play well against New York. The numbers are kind of 50-50 on that. He is at home. I guess that's all well and fine, but New York's going to take this ball inside today, and I do think that they're going to be able to score at ease inside. Atlanta's not a very good defense, like I already mentioned, but in the last, or actually we can just say on the season here, they're 5th worst in terms of points in the paint. In the last 10 games, New York shooting the ball at the highest rate of frequency at the rim. Obviously, that's going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. OG Anunoby has stepped up. All these other guys have stepped up in Jalen Brunson's absence from time to time, Anunoby being, I would say, the biggest one. Now Brunson's getting back. He's going to give them a little bit more of a dynamic look. I think the Knicks cover this line here. And again, Knicks look really good against some poor teams, and they struggle against some good teams. For example, you know, they play against Cleveland, they lose by almost 20. They play against the Clippers, they lose by almost 15. They play against Philadelphia, they win by 14. They play against Portland, they win by 17. Atlanta, I hate to say it to Atlanta fans, but they're closer to those the latter teams than they are the Clevelands of the world. So that's the direction I'm leaning in. In terms of where I'd go total, A slight lean towards the under. I have this one right around 232, which is close, but still 4.5 points off of this line that we're getting. And if this game goes how I think, which is New York playing their style of basketball, which is going to be far slower than Atlanta, and them scoring in the paint, I don't see how there's going to be a plethora of points and possessions in this one. So I'm going to lean towards the Knicks as well as the under. Something's telling me, too, that could be a good spot for Jalen Brunson because I think his points line is at like 21.5. Obviously, he hasn't played in like a month, so he's probably going to be on some sort of minutes restriction, but that is a low line for him. But I don't think that we end up touching that one. Next up, we have Philadelphia taking on Minnesota. Minnesota has been getting the job done. They're 4-0 in their last four. 4-0 both straight up and against the spread, by the way. Philadelphia, they're one of the teams that I've said had this white towel, and they said, let's throw it in. We're done with the year, right? Like, it's apparent. I will say that, Minnesota is looking really good to close out the year. They could still, prevent themselves from being a play-in team, so I think that they're playing hard. 16 points is a lot, but against a team that I feel like is giving up, I'm going to lean towards Minnesota minus the points. Maybe we just take a peek at Minnesota team total over. We've been doing that lately, especially like a team total first half could be something that we can consider because they'll play 24 minutes of basketball. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to sit there and not try in the first half because they still do want to win. So you can get them right now. Team total over, let's see, over 58.5 in the first quarter. They haven't done that in 5 straight, so that's a little worrisome. But this Philadelphia team, their defense is just not there, right? This is the last. They have one game, and it was against the Knicks, in which they looked like they played good defense. Knicks didn't make many shots, but the rest of these games, I'm going to read off. This is their last 10, so 9 outside of the Knicks. 126. This is points allowed. The Knicks was the 105, so the next 8 are pretty high numbers, right? 127, 118, 119, 112, 132, 128, 133, 144. They're not playing defense. They're playing at a decently fast pace, but not even like a crazy fast pace, so it's truly just defensive efficiency in the tank. I expect Minnesota to be able to do all right against them. 16 points has me a little worrisome. Like, you're not going to see me. In fact, we got a comment or a couple comments yesterday being like, I wish you took more sides. If you've been watching all year, we take plenty of sides. At this point in the season, these spreads are just kind of wonky, and I don't really want to burn bread over a 16-point spread when Minnesota could win handily by 14. So not exactly what I'm looking at, but one spot that I did consider was Mike Conley over in rebounds plus assists. I do like that, especially if this is going to be a very efficient offense today for Minnesota. I see them being able to, I guess, score a decent amount of points and that type of thing. I think Mike Conley could contribute to that. So his rebounds plus assist line, I lost it here. Let me pull it back up. It's sitting at 6.5. You can get that for minus 105 right now. Philadelphia has been okay defending the point guard this season, but obviously it's a little bit different of a team. Last time Mike Conley played this team, which was about a month ago, I think it was like a month and 1 day ago, he had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He almost cashed this in both of the categories separately. So over 6.5 rebounds plus assists, I do like for him. He's also hit this in his last 8 games here. He's hit it in 6, actually. Yeah, I was going to say 5, but I believe it's in 6 of those. And over his last 10, he's averaging 6.5 right on the money there. So, yeah, I like this spot. On the season, he's only 47% to this line on the road. So I guess that's a little, worrisome to some degree. But that being said, when you bump it up to winning by 10 plus points, he's actually averaging 7.1 rebounds plus assists, and he's hitting 50% of the time. So when they do go and beat teams handily and whatnot, we do start to see him potentially look good. Now, I do believe those suspensions have run out, so hoping he still gets his minutes and that type of thing. But I like Mike Conley over 6.5 rebounds plus assists. Team total over, again, for Minnesota is probably what I'd take a peek at. I don't want to involve Philadelphia in any sort of an over here or an under, but I guess if I had to pick, I'd say over because that defense is so bad. All right, real quick, guys, before we do move on, we're going to talk about this game shortly, but we do have a Tyler Hero free square over on Sleeper Picks, 0.5 points. That's not even the best deal going on, and I've told you guys this for how many weeks or even months now, right? The best deal that they have going on is one of, if not the best in the market. You play $5 as a new customer, you get $55 for free, which is really cool because I think the way they do it is unique. The way they do it is unique. You get 11 free $5 plays. So you can take some long shots and everything like that. It's not just a lump sum of 55 that you or someone like me might just blow right away, right? So really cool how they do it, guys. If you want to sign up for Sleeper Picks, that link is going to be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. You get this hero square. You can add that in to any of your slips, and just going to boost the payout. Speaking of payouts, the way they do it is really cool. Each and every play you throw into your slip is going to boost the payout dynamically. They don't follow a fixed payout structure, which I think is very, very cool that they do as well. They kind of brought that to the market. So go check it out, guys. Again, that link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment, Tyler Hero free square, as well as a play 5, get 55 deal. Let's jump back into the last 3 games here. All right, Detroit taking on this Memphis team. So shout out to John Moran for cashing that 3-leg parlay we had a couple days ago. He had the game winner against the Heat. Detroit does bounce back with a win. They had lost a couple straight. That was against Minnesota and OKC, so 2 fair opponents, right? They beat Toronto by, I believe it was 12 points. If we look at the standings in this one, Detroit is probably okay where they are. They're either going to be the 5 seed or the 6 seed. That does matter to some degree, obviously, I would say, but it's not like they're at risk of being a play-in team or anything like that. Whereas if we flip over to the Grizzlies side of things, they are a play-in team right now. They are tied with Minnesota, who is technically not a play-in seed team right now, and they're only a game out of that 5th place spot. So we're winding down on these games left in the season, and Memphis, their games matter a whole hell of a lot. So I know they're on the road here, but I think this is probably a spot where we back Memphis again. Tobias Harris missed last game. He's questionable in this one. And now we have Cade Cunningham, or not now. Cade Cunningham's also missed some time. I believe he came back and played in that last game. Actually, did he? I think he was questionable. I don't think he played in their last game, did he? So, now we have him potentially not playing yet again. We'll see if he does go. I know they're trying to get him to go, so I've heard. So, yeah, if he doesn't play, then this is probably another spot for Memphis, not Minnesota. -1.5 seems fair to me. I'd probably just go on the money line at this point. This Memphis team needs to win. They have only won 3 of their last 10 games, and you've seen them go toot in the standings, right? Like, they need some dubs late in the season here to try and solidify themselves, or at least get themselves out of the play-in tournament. I think that's probably the way of looking at it. So, yeah, give me Memphis. I think that this game matters a little bit more to them. They're fairly healthy. John Morant's starting to look like he's really determined, and this team is tough, right? Like, that's a really good starting 5. Do I love Edey? No, but against a guy like Jalen Duren, he's probably going to give him some trouble. But John Morant, Bane, Wells, Jackson, that's a really good 1 through 4 there, especially when Jackson and or Bane is on. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough today for Detroit. Could you see Detroit winning this game if Cade Cunningham plays? Sure, because Detroit, again, still wants to stick in that 5 seed. So it's not like they're trying to blow this game and they don't care about it. But to me, it's a Memphis spot. But I really don't want to talk anyone off of Detroit because this is not numbers-based, right? Both these teams like to play in the paint. I think it's going to be a battle and bloodbath in the paint, so all that type of stuff. But I just think that Memphis is going to get the better of it. I also think Memphis is being a lot smart about how they're trying to score the ball. They're doing what they did to make them good in the first place and get to the rim. And Detroit loves to get to the rim. And both these teams are decent defenses. I'm not going to say great, but decent defenses, specifically at the rim. So I love an under today as well. That could definitely be a play. But how many times have I taken, if you guys have watched all season, how many times have I taken a damn Memphis under and the games are like 8,000 points and we lose that one? It's tough. So that is where I'd go, but it's a little questionable. And then no player props. In fact, we don't have too many player props today, but yeah, Memphis in the under in this spot. All right, Milwaukee taking on Miami. We just kind of talked about the Eastern Conference a little bit, but mentioned both of these teams. So the Bucks, they're right behind the Pistons there in that 6 seed. We talked about Detroit being okay out of the play-in, but still fighting for that 5 seed to kind of hold it. The Bucks just a half game out of that spot, and the Heat here tied with the Bulls for the 9/10 seed. I believe they're slotted in as the 10 seed as of right now in terms of tiebreakers. So Miami, they're going to be a play-in seed. In fact, all of these teams of, from 10 in on the East, and I want to say it's very close in the West for one team, but mostly the 1 through 10 seeds in a sense of ending the year, those teams are solidified. Like when you get to the 11th down to the 15th, like all these teams are already out of the playoffs, right? So the Heat don't have any risk of not being a playoff team, and they're really nowhere near not being a play-in team. They'll be a play-in team no matter where they end up finishing in the last few games. So I do think that Milwaukee's going to probably care about this one somewhat more. I mean, they still don't have Damian Lillard, no Portis, Sims, AJ Green is probable, and as is Giannis. If Giannis gets the go, I like the Bucks here in this spot. I don't think that they want to keep kind of I guess, bleeding out, and we've seen that. They beat Phoenix, and they won their last game. I forget who it was against. But you have Miami, who was playing really good basketball. They even beat the Heat, right? Lose to Memphis on a game winner, and they are at home. I understand it, and honestly, the total at 214 does say Miami's probably going to slow this one down. But the Bucks have won all 3 games so far this season and covered. It really has been good. I think they were underdogs, one of them, because Giannis didn't play. But they've covered in all 3 and won all 3 games. I think they have this Heat number, and they kind of match up fairly well against them. If this Heat team does try and take it into the paint, the Bucks, 7th best team in terms of points in the paint allowed this season. I think that they'll step it up. Miami, if they want to run the pick and roll, the Bucks should be able to be okay against that. My one concern, and this is a big Tyler Hero spot, would be the pull-up jumper. I think that could be a tough look overall in terms of them trying to prevent that. So that's the one way of going about it. But again, like it's not enough for me to get to the Heat side of things. I also don't mind Tyler Hero today in his points plus assists. I want to say that line was at 29.5. If you can get it at 30.5, I think that's fine. He's hit it in 5 straight games. Going up against this Milwaukee squad, he hit it last time with 40 points in 11. That was just little over a month ago. So I do like Milwaukee. I also think Tyler Hero fires today. Like I said, pick and roll, he's going to have his opportunities. That's why I don't mind the assists, but he'll have his opportunity to pass and score. Bucks, not exactly the huge, 3-point presence defensively, so maybe they get some catch and shoots that he assists on and that type of thing. Total, I'm going to look at the over. I think Milwaukee's going to up this pace a little bit, even though that they're a very slow team. If they do choose to run on this Heat team, the Heat are very bad defensively in transition. I think they're allowing nearly a 55% field goal percentage to their opponents this year. So if Milwaukee runs, I think they could get some, decent looks there. And their last 3 games, 126, 133, 124, 3 straight overs in terms of the teams they've been playing. Now, they have not played a defense like Miami. I admit that. But I think that if the Bucks run, they'll be able to score in transition and make the Heat uncomfortable. Clippers taking on Dallas. Clippers in that same kind of spot as we talked about with the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. But Dallas is right there too. Dallas is the 9 seed, a half game up on the Kings, so they're not going to chase the 8 seed. But I don't think Dallas wants to fall to the 10 seed either. Do I think that that's the biggest of deals? No. And we have a ton to look at for this Dallas team. Klay Thompson questionable, Anthony Davis questionable, Derek Lively questionable. So obviously those are things that we're going to want to wait out. On the other side of things, Kawhi Leonard listed as probable. This is a big number for the Clippers, but they've been playing really good basketball. 8-2 both straight up and against the spread within their last 10 games. Last time they played this team was, let's see, when did they play last? Oh, right, yesterday, and they win 114-91. So I do think that this is probably a spot where we see the Clippers handle business again. Dallas didn't have everybody playing yesterday, right? So obviously with no Lively, no Anthony Davis, that's going to be pretty impactful because this Clippers team loves to dominate in the paint and everything like that. But that said, even with Anthony Davis in there, I do still think this is a spot where the Clippers are thinking, get me out of this damn play-in situation. Let me try and get up there. You know what I mean? So they should be caring about it, and they're playing like they do care about it. So yeah, I'm going to take the Clippers in this spot. Maybe Clippers on the money line, with like Minnesota minus 3.5, something like that, some slimy parlay that we've been rolling with. In terms of where we go from a total perspective, if the Mavs don't try and up the tempo, they're crazy. I mean, they're literally crazy. Like this game was 114 to 91 in that last game there. And I'm not saying the Clippers can't win an up-tempo game. Like, we've seen that. They lost to Cleveland, but it was close. They up-tempo game against, I want to say, the Knicks and Memphis. They played they've won some of these games. But Dallas's only, what I would say, advantage over them is that they can run in pace. And surprisingly, this is not a big known thing because I had to dig for it. Dallas, one of the better transition defenses this season. Now, obviously, that's including the entire season. We're late in the year. There's a lot of variables, but under 50%, actually 48.4% allowed to their opponents in transition. So if they run and make this a transition game, that's how Dallas should keep this one close. So I'm going to lean towards the over, even though, I'm saying Dallas should stop them in transition. I'm just saying that should be Dallas's, go-to style here overall to try and make this game as close as possible. So yeah, it doesn't correlate to the Clippers covering, but I do think it correlates to a faster paced game that the Clippers may not be comfortable playing, but will play if they have to, and that leads to an over. So that's going to be the direction I look at from a total perspective, and I feel like I've been saying it for a while now. This Clippers offense is on fire, they're very efficient. It's not like Dallas is a crazy good defense. Clippers are a good defense, but I think this one gets up tempo. But if you don't believe in Dallas, or the Clippers, -8.5, maybe we can kind of roll those together and massage it a little bit and look at the Clippers team total over, or like we cashed a couple days ago, Clippers team total on the I guess, what was it, the first half we did, right? Maybe that's a potential look as well. But that is going to wrap it up for today's show. It's a quick one, only a 5-game slate of some wonky games. I talked about it at the end of the video yesterday or the day before. Just wait for the playoffs. These playoffs are going to be electric. I'm confident in that. We have all these things about, they're losing viewership and all that. No. This is going to be a very good. I don't know why I'm holding up 2 fingers because I was doing the quotes. This is going to be a very good playoff season for the NBA. Whether the viewers are there and all, not whatever, NBA fans will enjoy it. I'm loving the teams that are involved. It's like if you could pick the teams that are involved in the playoffs, these are the teams you would pick, right? There's no like crappy, oh man, the Hornets snuck in, they're gonna get wiped in round 1. No, competitive play should be not at a premium here. So yeah, there's a little rant, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Right? Peace out.